story. I timed it. I used to do stand-up comedy, and that was the topic of the conversation earlier when I got here early and had a couple of beers. But I had to bring out my bifocals for this reading. And I wrote it all tonight, and I never got a chance to name it, so here it is. Okay, it's regards to stand-up comedy. I recall spitting in the wind, walking over the Hennepin Bridge to the St. Anthony, Maine, for the big comedy contest. The wind blew the spittle right on my newly acquired anachronistic suit coat that I had recently bought at the Goodwill for the princely sum of something like $5. For the first time ever, I was loud in the green room, where I went over my lines. This half-Irish, half-Mexican comedian came in and assisted me with my routine. He had a potato in his Dos Equis. He truly sponsored the idea for me to capture the spontaneity of the moment. It was a good advice, especially since my method was to phonetically repeat my jokes over and over until I could say them verbatim. But I definitely got what he was saying. As the crowd filed in, I nervously stayed in the green room until I was summoned by a familiar face, and soon thereafter the show got started. Me being a quote-unquote rookie was one of the first to go on. I seemed to be getting some laughs, but I could have been groans that mingled with a few laughs that could have created more cacophony than I deserved. It's important to mention my material is extremely pun-orientated, so I'm familiar with the proverbial groan. After the first 5 minutes, I was starting to draw a blank. Some loosely organized, improvised material that was based on some cartoons from my childhood. It was soon after the show that the finalists were announced, and I wasn't one of them. I had gone on the comedy tour, but I didn't pick up the headliner and the middler at the airport. Not like I was supposed to, so I was supposed to. My performances on the trip were uneven. I encountered deathly silence in Fargo, and a couple of weeks later, I approached the man who did the booking. I approached him regarding some possible future bookings when he suggested that the only nights he had available were Monday nights. Coincidentally, it was the same night as the open mic. Back to the open mic, back to the drawing board. I hung around comedy clubs and continued to do open mics on and off for a couple of years. Comedy wasn't the only thing I was venturing into. I also had a job making delicatessen-style sandwiches. I got to say, it's quite possible I took a hiatus from stand-up comedy to pursue this promising sandwich-making endeavor. One night I summoned myself back to St. Anthony, Maine. The stage, the place had changed. There was a new stage in an entirely different area. I recall going on a little bit early and getting minimal laughter, trying to milk a laugh from my 10,000 maniacs joke. There's a lake for every one of them ad nauseum. Get it? I'm not saying the jokes didn't go over, but the mosquitoes in the back row were sleeping. Unbeknownst to me, that had surpassed me as my back was turned. I was thrusted back into the open mic, the beach, along with all the other one-eyed snails. And that's okay. We're getting close to being done. I recall the depressing poignant moment when a gal from Milwaukee, along with her beer-drinking bowling stories, was scoring 9s and 10s and getting titters and tatters. She scored a 9 and then she threw a strike, and the head pin was my fledgling comedy ambition. I had to use the restroom as I made my way out. Someone was doing a oneie in the bathroom. It was the first time I had ever seen one. And I recall smelling that interesting aroma as I was washing my hands. I think I kind of caught a buzz from the smoke that was in the air. And as I walked out of the comedy club, I thought about my life, and I contemplated that of what direction I should go. That's it. Thank you.